Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmritamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manovishtam Stapitamena Bhutale Swayam Rupakadamakyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Gurum Shri Yudapadakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavansha Shri Rupam Sakrijatam Sagara Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Krishna Chaitanya Devam Radha Krishna Padam Sagara Lalita Vishakamanutanascha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanchana Namostute Tapsa Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishavanasute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhuke Vacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Namo Namaruddhaya Shikeshendriyatmane Namah Paramahamsaya Purnaya Nivritatmane Swarga Pavarga Dwaraya Nityam Sachi Sade Namah Namah Hiranyavirya Chaturhotraya Pantave. Hare Krishna. So today we are gathered here to celebrate the occasion of the appearance day of Lord Bhagavan Sri Ram. And I was just thinking on how to touch upon the topic of the appearance and the pastimes of Lord Ram when we are Gaudiya Vaishnavas aspiring to ultimately enter into the pastimes of Rajendra Nandan Krishna in Goloka. So what is the transition? What is the connection? Isn't it? Because it appears to be a bit out of context in one sense, because we are so focused in wanting to go back to Goloka, but then we are glorifying Lord Sri Ram. But actually, the appearance of Lord Sri Ram has extraordinary significance in the lives of the practitioners of Gaudiya Vaishnavism. And for those of you who are new, Gaudiya Vaishnavism is the precept and the practice that was introduced by Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is an incarnation of Krishna himself and who advented 500 years back to bring in a very special message and introduce the Yuga Dharma in this Yuga. Anyways, so before we go into Ram Leela, we need to understand Krishna Leela, and then we need to understand Gaur Leela, and then we can come into Ram Leela, because without a proper entry we would not be able to do so. So in Krishna Leela, briefly, in Goloka, the supreme abode, Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, and his first expansion is Sri Balaram. And Balaram and Krishna are non-different, except Balaram is whitish, and Balaram's mood is he is Sevaka Bhagavan. His presence is to be able to serve Krishna to the fullest capacity. So what is the specific sentiment of Balaram in Goloka? The specific sentiment of Balaram in Goloka is that he is older than Krishna, so he carries a bit of authority in him. So he's a bit authoritarian towards Krishna. But he is not very old, and as a consequence, he also treats Krishna on the same level. So that's Vishramba. Vishramba practically means that he is looking at Krishna and he doesn't see the difference. Krishna looks at him and he doesn't see the difference. Krishna looks upon Balaram as his guru, and then Mother Yashoda instructs Balaram to take care of Krishna. So Balaram acts as a father and mother because of the instructions of Mother Yashoda when they go out. Take care of Krishna is the instruction of Mother Yashoda. So he becomes like a parent. So Balaram carries the mood of parenthood, Vatsalya. He carries the mood of Sakya. And in Sakya, he treats Krishna as an equal and even an inferior in certain ways because he is older than him slightly. So that brings out a specific mellow of exchange in Vrindavan. Outside of Vrindavan, Krishna never steps out. It is Balaram who expands into the different Vishnu incarnations. So now we will have to understand Balaram's incarnation and Krishna's incarnation in Gaur Leela. Towards the end of Adi Leela, in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Sri Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami writes about the fact that Lord Mahaprabhu, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, displayed the form of Shad Bhuja. Shad is 6, Bhuja is 6-armed form. So he displayed himself having two arms holding the stick of a sannyasi and the water pot which a sannyasi or renunciate carries. He displayed the feature of Lord Ram with a bow and arrow. He displayed the feature of Krishna with a flute and a stick of a cowherd boy. So there were 6 different arms displayed by Mahaprabhu, and this display was specifically done before Lord Nityananda. Lord Nityananda is Balaram. When he comes into Gaur Leela, he does assume the role of a guru. He becomes Mahaprabhu's guru when he is coming into Gaur Leela because he is older and he also has this bhav of authoritarian mood towards Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu treats him as a guru as well. In fact, there is Vyasa Puja. The first Vyasa Puja is the one done by Mahaprabhu to Lord Nityananda in Gaur Leela. But Mahaprabhu began his instruction to Lord Nityananda on his role in Gaur Leela by displaying his Shadbhuja Rupa. You see, when Mahaprabhu displayed the Shadbhuja Rupa, which is the Rama Rupa, he specifically gave a message to Lord Nityananda. He said, Lord Nityananda, you are Balaram in Goloka, you are Nityananda in Gaur Leela, but I want you to take on the mood of Lakshman when you are in Gaur Leela. This instruction, the moment Lord Nityananda sees the form of Ram in connection with Mahaprabhu, his internal bhav turns into the bhav of Lakshman. He becomes Lakshman internally. Balaram gives up the mood of being a superior. He gives up the mood of being an equal. He becomes a servant because that's the mood of Lakshman. Intense dasya. They are brothers. But the mood in Ram Leela of Lakshman is intense dasya. Dasya, which means exclusive dasya, where his mood of servitude mixed with love is considered to be supreme. So he displays the form to motivate Lord Nityananda so that he could order him. How else would Mahaprabhu order a superior? He motivates him internally. He becomes Lakshman. I'll become your Das. He then motivates Mahaprabhu, motivates Nityananda Ram, saying, go preach. Lead the preaching movement. This motivation is being given as Lord Nityananda assumes the mood of Lakshman. Without the mood of Lakshman, which is pure dasya, Mahaprabhu is also setting a standard in the Shadbhuja Rupa. When he is displaying to Lord Nityananda, he is saying, you will approach me in the mood of Lakshman, servitude. You will carry that mood and you will expand into the different devotees who are going to come and participate in my Leela, and you will inject them with the mood of service. And the mood of service which is being injected by Lord Nityananda into us is the mood of pure servitude. We can never see Lord Chaitanya because we are all participants in Gaur Leela. There is no question of approaching Mahaprabhu without first understanding the mood of Lakshman. There is no question. Mahaprabhu, as a sannyasi, he set the strictest standard in Gaur Leela. There was no standard which was surpassing his standard. He was Maryada Purushottama in the mood of Lord Gauranga. His standard of etiquette, morality, his standard of implementing the mission was all extraordinarily strict and extraordinarily well defined. It was very different from his mood of being Krishna. Very different. His mood was in the mood of Lord Ram when he was actually in Sannyas Desha. He was in the mood of Lord Ram. He practically was in the mood of Lord Ram when he behaved externally. Lord Ram's behavior was enforced by Mahaprabhu externally. Internally, he was relishing the most internal confidential mellows of Vraja. So Mahaprabhu enthused Lord Nityananda first by asking him to take on the mood of Lakshman. Intense dasya mixed with love. In Vaikuntha, there is dasya, but the dasya is not mixed with sakyas, which is a bit of brotherly love. And that's why Lakshman's mood of Dasya is far more intense compared to the servants who are found of Lord Narayan in the four-armed form. So Lord Nityananda assumes that mood, and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu assumes the etiquette of Lord Ram in terms of ensuring that he will implement dharma of external dharma, of sannyasa dharma and so many other interactions to the highest degree, and that was also his mood as being Lord Ram. Now what is it which is being conveyed to us here? It is being conveyed to us that in Gaur Leela we will assume the mood of Lakshman, of being pure servitude. Gaur Leela we will serve Lord Gauranga with the mood of pure servitude, just as Lakshman did. Dasya, pure servitude. And by doing so, we will eventually, by the mercy of Lord Gauranga, graduate into Krishna Leela. There is no direct transit into Krishna Leela without first assuming the mood of Dasya, of servitude in Gaur Leela, serving Lord Chaitanya's movement with great intensity, and then taking that mood and then finally entering into the pastimes of the divine couple in Raja. So approaching Sri Radha Shyam Sundar is through the mood of Lord Chaitanya of intense servitude, inspired by the actions of Lord Nityananda. Now, do we understand that the context of the Shatbhuja Rupa practically changed and transformed the heart of Lord Nityananda, and he became Lakshman? Otherwise, Lord Gauranga could not have ordered him to go and preach. Orders are not given by those who are inferior in certain ways. Balaram and Krishna are equal. Balaram would not take orders from Krishna because that would spoil friendship which they had. So Balaram, when he comes as Lakshman, he comes in the mood of intense servitude, and he is ready to take orders, and he would implement everything. That became the mood of Lord Nityananda and the preaching movement of Lord Chaitanya. So what is the message which is being given here? The message that is being given here is that to approach Lord Chaitanya, we have to assume Dasya Bhava. That is why there's such emphasis that you have to become the servant of the servant of the servant. There's so many, strictures on becoming the servant, which is essentially confusing to those who are aspiring to go to the divine realm, because they might think that I'm aspiring to be this and that and so many other things to Krishna. No, when we come in touch with Mahaprabhu, our qualification is that we become the servant of the servant of the servant, and that qualification gives us an entry into Krishna Leela if we qualify, if we please Nityananda Ram. He's most merciful and quite easy to please as well. So it's not very difficult to please Nityananda Ram. So now we understand that there is a connection between the moods. Now there's a second connection as well. The second connection which is being displayed here is the fact that there is a need for leadership around the world. Srila Prabhupada made a mention of this. We don't want to go too deep into it because it's really a topic which can digress discussions. Srila Prabhupada did mention that for a mission to succeed, there has to be very strong preaching, there has to be the mellow of servitude, but we also have to have varnashram implemented, because everybody else will benefit. The aspect of varnashram comes from the mood of Lord Ram, because he was a king. It is said that people during Lord Ram's reign, Ram Rajya has become a cliche these days, used by politicians, isn't it? It's a cliche. It's favorable, they can just make a statement, and it's almost like a power word or one of those management principles where they say this is Ram Rajya. But in reality, the condition of Ram Rajya was in Treta Yuga, when Lord Ram was ruling over Bharatvarsha, over the world. In Treta Yuga, the mood became that of Satya Yuga. It became superior. And what is it which is being spoken of? Exemplarily, it is being spoken of that in Treta Yuga, when Lord Ram was in Ayodhya and was managing the kingdom, people did not even have to die unless they wanted to. How amazing is that? This is scripture. This is scripture from Srimad Bhagavatam. The king was so powerful that even Emerald and the normal condition of the body, according to the Yuga, was surpassed by ordinary subjects because they were aligned and they were in Ram Rajya. They need not even have to die, which is a sure condition of birth on the planet. They did not even have to die unless they wanted to. Okay? I don't know who would want to die, but That's what scripture says. That was the condition which was being imposed on by his presence. That is Ram Rajya. And Ram Rajya specifically was displayed by the Lord, and he followed the pillars of Dharma. We would just like to briefly touch upon how Lord Ram enacted his pastimes. It is a scriptural input. In Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said that Dharma is supported by 4 principles. The first principle of Dharma, any Dharma, be it in the identity of a father, be it in the identity of a mother, the son's Dharma, the citizen's Dharma towards the nation, the Dharma of a professional, any Dharma is supported by 4 main principles. The principle of Dharma, according to scripture, number 1, the first principle is austerity. There is absolutely no question of being able to implement and act dharmically without understanding that there will be a price to pay for it. There is a price to pay for everything, and we understand it very well here in America. There's a price, right? The first principle of Dharma is there is a need for austerity. And Lord Ram took it upon himself, and Ram Leela was all about austerity. Who would imagine the Supreme Personality of Godhead wanting to walk around in the forest for 14 years with his consort, with his brother, barefooted? Who would imagine that? Who would imagine the Dharma implemented and austerity implemented by Bharat, the brother of Lord Ram, while in Ayodhya? Bharat Maharaj, who is an expansion, when he was ruling Ayodhya and he decided, my master is walking around in the forest, his feet are being poked by thorns, I will not accept any form of luxury. He went away and he stayed in the outskirts of the city in an ashram. What was his daily meal? He used to eat barley cooked in cow's urine every day. This was his meal. This is Bharat. He was ruler for 14 years. He used to sleep on kusha grass, and he used to be extraordinarily austere, and surely he was separated from his wife. He was maintaining celibacy for the 14 years. He was alone in the ashram. And everybody used to go there, and he used to rule from the ashram, and this is Bharat. This is austerity displayed in Ram Leela. This is how Dharma is implemented. Because he was born to Kaikeyi, he had this perception. I'm born to a mother who has caused such harm and such evil, such a bad name to my brother and so many other people. Now, how do I wash off this perception? So you don't really wash off perception only internally. There is the internal change which has to occur to change external perception. There's also the external display of activities which will change perception, which is very important. Both are required. What did Bharat do? Not only did he maintain Dharma internally of not wanting to sit on the throne when Lord Ram was away, he also undertook austerity to display externally what is Dharma. It involves austerity. Cleanliness is the second principle of Dharma. And cleanliness is not simply a matter of suchi, it is a matter of having character that is clean. When someone's consciousness is very elevated, they develop thoughts in their mind which are very elevated. When elevated thoughts predominate the mind, then ideas are elevated. When ideas that predominate the mind are elevated, then words are elevated. If words are elevated, action is elevated. You repeated action, habits are elevated. Repeated habits, character is very elevated. And then when you have character, and everybody has a high character, then you have culture. So that was the specific mood of Lord Ram's cleanliness. Cleanliness was internal cleanliness. There was internal purity. And internal purity cannot be established unless one is situated internally in the idea and the mood of being a servant of the servant. There is no question of internal purity if one does not assume the identity of being a servant of the servant in the mood of Lord Sri Lakshman. That is internal identity. One has to assume that. So that's cleanliness. That is the second principle of Dharma. The third principle of Dharma is Kripa, mercy. Who is more merciful than Lord Ram? Krishna kills for sport in Krishna Leela. Haven't we seen that? He's quite chivalrous. They enjoy actually beating up and killing the Asuras. We notice that several times in Krishna Leela. Lord Ram felt compassion for Ravana, who had caused him such grievous injury. Lord Ram gives him one chance, after the second chance, after the third chance, after the fourth chance. You make this slight amend to your activities, and I will retreat. I will not kill you. He was ready to forgive him, and he gave him multiple chances. He gave him multiple chances. The third principle of Dharma is mercy. Without mercy, there's absolutely no question of being able to implement Dharma. The inward part of mercy is the external display. Internally, the quality of compassion is mercy. So the more compassionate one becomes, the greater their ability to implement Dharma. For you to be compassionate, for us to be compassionate, one has to be selfless. One cannot really be compassionate without being selfless. So it again goes back to being able to assume the identity of a servant of the servant. This is the third principle of Dharma. Who was more compassionate than Lord Ram? Unimaginable. Extraordinarily compassionate. Extraordinarily compassionate. No one could imagine the compassion that flows. And the fourth leg and the fourth principle of Dharma, which was implemented, was the Dharma of establishing the truth. And what is eternal truth? Sri Ram Leela has such precepts of truth that is almost unimaginable. The truth of chastity. The Asuras were very powerful. They were very powerful. They were very, very strong. They were empowered for destruction. How is it that monkeys and bears could kill the Asuras? The Asuras were practically decimated not so much by the power of the monkeys of Lord Ram's army. They were decimated because they violated the principle of chastity of Mother Sita. Chastity is so powerful that it can destroy an entire race, it can destroy a nation, and there's ample history. Mother Sita's chastity was so powerful and her anger was so powerful that empowered the army of Lord Ram. The Shakti came from Mother Sita. The Shakti came from her. So the principle of truth, the first principle of truth of chastity is so important. The longevity of the husband is dependent on the chastity of the wife. This is a Shastric principle. Longevity of the husband is dependent on the chastity of the wife. And that is the reason why there's so much emphasis on chastity. Now, the other principle of truth is the principle of service. Again, going back to the monkeys and the bears. How do you win against very, very complex enemies who are extraordinarily intelligent, they are powerful, they are so resourceful, and you're going to their country and you're fighting them? Now we have to understand the success formula when we are engaging in service in Lord Chaitanya's movement, because it is very closely tied to what happened in Ram Leela. The success formula, the barometer of success, is not an efficient display as in how we see it happen in the modern world. For us, the barometer of success could be more followers, that could be greater level of opulence, that could be perhaps a very ostentatious display of resources. It could be many things which are normally considered to be the norm. Normative patterns of success are as defined by the corporate world on what is success, profits, bigger balance sheet, efficient operations. That is the normal external barometer of success. But that is not the barometer of success in Gaur Leela, neither is it an precept given in Ram Leela. The barometer of success is that when we take up service in Chaitanya Leela, in Gaur Leela, the barometer of success is not so much the actual success of the project. The barometer of success is whether participants have deepened their faith. That is the real barometer of success. You see, the barometer of success in Chaitanya Leela is that when you take on activity, be it book distribution, be it preaching, be it anything, the barometer of success is not whether you have met the end. It's an internal reflection. You would want to see if you've deepened your faith. So that is the reason why, practically, when we are trying to do things in Gaur Leela, they are so difficult. Bridgewater is very easy to do. Gaur Leela is very difficult to do. It's very difficult. Why so? Because the internal barometer of faith is what is being checked. Mahaprabhu is arranging circumstances which are quite complex and which cannot be understood easily. And he's arranging these complex circumstances and saying, you go and implement your mission, and you may succeed or may not succeed based on the material calculation, but I can assure you that if you're sincere, you will deepen your faith. This is Mahaprabhu's mission. This is the same mission that was initiated by Lord Rama. When Lord Rama, he could have easily killed, he could have sat on the back of Hanuman, Lord Hanuman, he could have crossed, he could have killed Ravana. Lord Hanuman could have killed Ravana. He was Shiva. But why did he engage this huge army? And then what were these insurmountable obstacles which came on the way? How do you go around making a bridge across an ocean with stones that are designed to sink anyways? How do you bring in huge mountain peaks and then immerse them? He did something which was so extraordinary, and this was done by his servants. So how does it happen? What is it which is being said here? The message that is being given here is on their own, the servants of Lord Ram could not have done what they did. But because they participated in the mission of Lord Ram and they gave themselves 100% to the mission of Lord Ram, they were used by him, and as a consequence, they deepened their faith. Everybody who participated in Ram Leela, every monkey, every bear, every person who participated in Ram Leela, they deepened their faith. Everything was done by the prowess of the Lord. But whoever participated, they deepened their faith. So there can be situations of success and there can be situations of failure when we are wanting to deepen faith. So the barometer of success for us is a faith deepened. Am I being able to chant better? Am I being able to read better? Serve better? That should be the barometer. Not so much whether something has really succeeded. Because that we do not have in our hands. That is being managed by Mahaprabhu himself and his orders. That is the other principle that was initiated. It was an extraordinary principle of faith, and faith resulting in success, and then faith deepening because of success, and so on and so forth. That's what happened. And that is the principle of action in Mahaprabhu's mission as well. That is the other reason for the Shatbhuja Rupa, where he is showing himself as Lord Ram. Execution has to be in that mood of servitude, where everything else would happen by his mercy. And the end result would be faith. It would not be anything else. Okay? So these are a few principles that we wanted to share. And, I think we've run out of time. I was told I was going to speak for half hour. I just want to maintain that. So I want to quickly summarize and then we will move on, I guess, with the program. We spoke about the connection between Gaur Leela and Ram Leela. Ram Leela is most critical because we understand the mood of service from Ram Leela. It is most critical. We cannot approach Mahaprabhu without understanding how Lakshman approached Ram. And that became the mood of Lord Nityananda. And he distributed the holy names, taking that mood into his heart. If you approach Mahaprabhu in that mission, Mahaprabhu himself displayed his extraordinarily strict etiquette as Lord Ram did. He was Maryada Purushottama. He would never deviate from any principle that was initiated. Mahaprabhu did not do so either. He was very strict in implementing Dharma when he was on the planet. And by doing so, by being extraordinarily aligned, as in the mood of Adasya, to Lord Chaitanya, we would automatically qualify by his mercy to participate in Krishna Leela. Otherwise, without understanding the Dasya that comes from Ram Leela, one cannot approach Mahaprabhu. It's confusing. One cannot really approach Krishna without the mercy of Mahaprabhu and Lord Nityananda Ram. There's no direct channel. So that's the first principle. Second, we also looked at the principle of Dharma. We looked at the four legs of Dharma: austerity, the principle of cleanliness, which is internal and external cleanliness, the third principle of mercy, and the fourth principle of truthfulness. And these are the principles that Lord Ram displayed extraordinarily in a very potent way. And he showed that we need not compromise. And he also said that for you to be dharmic, you have to pay the price. And that's what is real. Then the third principle which we spoke about is the different principles of truth in Ram Leela. The first principle of truth we spoke about was the principle of chastity that was displayed by Mother Sita. The power of chastity was such that the Asuras were dead even before they got to the battlefield. The fourth principle that was also displayed was how do you serve? Right? Does Mahaprabhu need us? No. No. He can make everything happen because he has spoken. It will happen. Do we need to participate? Yes, in the mood of dasya, extreme servitude. And by doing so, we would develop faith. What is it which we are going to earn by our service? A deepening of faith. Failure or success, immaterial, we would deepen our faith. That's why when Krishna's 64 qualities are spoken about, Krishna has 64 qualities. The quality of being surrounded by intense devotees is one of his qualities. In no other Leela would you find devotees who are so intense as in Krishna Leela. And intensity means that we are ready to pay any kind of price for us to reach our goal. That is intensity. And that is also being shown as a principle. That any kind of price is fine in terms of service. What we will receive in return will be faith. There will be deep faith, more faith, and faith as it deepens means there are more and more experiences of reality. There are more and more experiences of